The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network. And hello, everybody. Welcome back inside Running Point on ysnlive.com. Ooh, it's been a minute, and I apologize. It has been, since Thursday since you've seen me. But we are enjoying the long weekend, and we hope you did too. We have a lot of stuff to recap and go over today. Everything that happened over the weekend, everything that went down on Friday Night Football, we're going to talk about. Everything that happened Saturday, we're going to talk about as well. It was just a really fun, jam-packed week 2 of football. We will recap it all, and we will do that here on Running Point. We will also have another Coach's Corner today for you that we're going to feature on today's show. We go down to the 440, a little bit of Sam Torres' neck of the woods, and we're going to hear from Pine Tuning Volleyball today and talk about their season and what they have in store for us to this year. So we're going to hear that Coach's Corner towards the end of the show. But first and foremost, we have to recap a lot of action. It's been a minute. Last night, obviously, nothing happening because of Labor Day. We hope you enjoyed your holiday. We hope you spent it honoring the people that work so hard in whatever trade they do here in this country. We have a lot of hard workers that make sure our world goes round and round. So they obviously, I said obviously twice or three. If I still had my counter, if you were with us during the summer, we counted that word. And it would be up. It would be way up. I saw DJ actually saying it a couple of times too. He's noticing that he says it a lot every now and then. It's a hard word to keep out of your vocabulary. We will, what was I saying? They were off yesterday. We want to honor the Labor Day people, all the people that are hard workers out there in the country. There were no sport events last night. No one played. So we will recap the weekend, and we will pop up the scoreboard on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. The YSN scoreboard is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you're at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the screen for too long. And the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live updated scores from your favorite teams across the YSN family, whether they be your best friends, bitter rivals, whatever you want to see, whatever you want to keep an eye on. Make sure to head on to the scoreboard. It can be found at ysnlive.com/scores, and it is presented proudly by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's take a look at Friday, August 30th. We are now in September, so we're going back into August for this recap, and it is Louisville getting a big first win of the year. The Leopards, this was really impressive for them. They had a tough loss in week 1, a game that I'm sure they watched the film and saw opportunities to win. They had the ball late in the fourth quarter. We talked about it. They couldn't quite get over that hump to beat New Philadelphia, a very good New Philly team. They bring in Alliance, who's trying to replace a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback, and the Leopards took advantage of that. They ran wild against this Alliance Aviators team, 40-14, the final score. Probably the most dominating Louisville football performance that we've seen, at least since they've been a part of YSN. We caught them in a rebuilding stage when we signed them on. So we've seen them win. They've definitely won, but this kind of win where they emphatically put their foot down and really beat up on a team. I don't think we've been able to see the Leopards put that together yet. So Great to see Louisville making a big stride in week 2, getting that win. Beaver was postponed to Saturday. If you were not with us on Friday, we had a lot of iffy weather. There were a lot of delays. Some games were playing late in the night, and some games like Beaver got pushed to Saturday. So that did not happen on Friday. We will move along to Springfield, beating Brookfield 35-13. The final score here. Springfield bounces back from a loss in week 1, and they have a very tough Geneva team coming into town next week too. So this is a big momentum boost for Springfield. Everything kind of looked right. This looked like a typical Springfield football win. They were disciplined. Everything kind of was executed well. They didn't have any, holes in what they were executing. It just looked like your typical Sean Guerrero coach team on Friday. So good to see Springfield. Want to remind everyone that Coach Guerrero is now 3 wins away. 3, which I think is very, 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 very obtainable this year. 3 more wins away from becoming the all-time winningest head coach in the Springfield program. So we want to wish him the best of luck and wish Springfield the best of luck going forward. Geneva coming to town in week 3, I should say. Beaver Local, they got back on track in a big way. They beat Brook. Excuse me, 35-0. Big win for the Beavers. And this was a Beavers team that really struggled in week 1, offensively especially. So they got back on track. This is a new offense, trying to fill some pieces. They lost a lot of skill position players last year. So they've found their groove, maybe. Maybe they can carry that into week 3, a very tough week 3 coming up for them. As we know, Beaver Local's schedule is filled with challenging teams. Youngstown East, a tough one. They fall to Chagrin Falls by 1 point, 23-22. That's going to be a hard pill to swallow for the Bears. One of those wins that they feel like they could have had. You got to take every opportunity to win and grab it when you're at Youngstown East because they have a very tough schedule and wins are not going to come easily at all. So they got to be able to win when they get a chance. And Chagrin Falls was able to squeak out of Youngstown with a win, which is going to be a tough one for East to handle. But they have to bounce back. There are, 7 more weeks of football left to play. They can't let a 1-point tough loss define the rest of their season. Struthers might be one of the more impressive teams that we've seen in the first 2 weeks. Their defense has been absolutely shut down, and their offense is just rolling on high cylinders too. Struthers wins over Cheney 28-6, the final score there. This was a close game for a little bit, but then you could just tell that Struthers and their depth at the numbers are the same. When you look at the rosters, they're roughly the same. But I think when I say depth, I mean players that are not willing, that are ready for that level of football, that are still on. I think there's this more talent depth on Struthers' roster, and that began to wear down Cheney in the second half. And not a bad defensive performance from Cheney. I mean, 28 points, not terrible. There were some things that got away from him, of course. But 28 points most nights, if you hold a high school football team down to 28, I mean, you look at some of these scores that we have, 28, you're going to be in the game, right? You're going to have your chances to win. But Cheney's offense just couldn't find any kind of holes in Struthers' defense. We go to United. They went against East Canton at home, and this was a different East Canton team. I'm telling you, this was one that United has had their way with the last couple of years, but this Hornet squad came in, and they were right there. If you're on East Canton's side of this game, you're just saying, you got to be kidding me. The way that they lost this game, they were on the goal line going to take the game-winning touchdown. They were there. They were right there. They could smell the victory, right? But United came with a giant fan and just blew that smell right out of the water. A fumble on the goal line recovered by United. And oh my word, this is the kind of game, the kind of win that you just tell your grandkids about. Like my dad tells me about plays that he made in high school football and the memories that he has at Cardinal Mooney back in the 70s. This is going to be one of those stories that last generations. We were down, we were holding on for dear life. They were about to win the game. They fumbled at the goal line. We recovered it, and we went on to win that game. And according to Derek Rhodes, in his perspective from the press box, the fumble happened in the very last nick of time. Like he said, there was not hardly any room between the ball and the goal line. So, it's one of those things that maybe if there's a review in high school, which there's not, maybe if it's a college game or a pro game, maybe they even look at it and say, oh, the nose of the football, maybe it touched the plane. It was that close that you would have been looking at replays for days on this game. But no replay necessary in high school football, of course. United gets the win. They forced a turnover, and they win a wild one, 31-28, the final score. Wyndham proves that they were not joking in week 1 as they go on in their home opener and beat East Palestine 45-12, and they really handled some early adversity. East Palestine kept this game close, scored twice in their in the first half. It was 19-12. It looked like it was going to be a shootout. Wyndham's defense made the adjustments and stopped East Palestine there, and their offense just kept running. That's why you turned this into a runaway. East Palestine, I was so impressed with the aggressiveness to come out in the first kickoff of the game. They went for the onside kick and got it. Usually, if a game starts out that way, you're going to have all the momentum going forward. And it looked like East Palestine was going to really benefit from that. But Wyndham, strong mental toughness team. And we have said it through the offseason. We said it after week 1 here on the show. We're going to keep saying it until maybe everyone believes it, because maybe still there are some doubters. This Wyndham team cannot be defined by the way the last 2 years went, because they were just absolutely riddled with injuries. They're healthy now. This is what Wyndham was supposed to look like and is supposed to look like. This is Wyndham football, man. They have a big one with Jackson Milton coming up this week. Both teams undefeated. They have another way to just prove that, hey, we are legitimate. We are the team to watch in that area. And Wyndham, I've already said I believe in. I believe in Coach I believe in his team. I believe in the health. If they can stay healthy, that's a big thing. They have to stay healthy because they don't have the depth to come back from a lot of injuries. But if they stay healthy, man, this is a very dangerous Bombers team on both sides of the football. How about Edgewood? Last year, Edgewood, especially the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, were putting up eye-popping numbers offensively. But so far, in the first 2 weeks, not the greatest offense in the world, but their defense comes up big in week 2, gets the win over Grand Valley, 18-7. This might be a different style Edgewood team. They lost a handful of seniors last year that made their offense really good, and maybe they're just trying to find an identity, right? They're trying to find, and what can we really execute at a high level? Week 2, maybe they figured that out. Maybe this will be an Edgewood team that grinds out more games and makes it a slower pace and doesn't have to score 50 points to win. Hey, if we can score in the 20s or in the high teens, we have a good chance. That kind of team. And Edgewood proving you can win both ways in football. That's what I love about this sport. You can have a really good offense and win that way if that's your strength. You can go and win 49-38, and that's fine. And you can also be a very defensive team and win that way too. And then the best teams are the ones that do both of them really, really well. The best teams are the ones that are winning 49-7. And then when you get into the playoffs, right, they don't look at how you won the game. They don't look at how much you won the game by. That's not us. We do not have a high school selection committee. Eye test does not matter in playoff football here in Ohio in high school. It's all about the points. And the points don't care about how you won, how you went about it, how much you won by. It's all about just winning the game however you can. And I think Edgewood's starting to find out what they can do really good. I think last week they got caught up in trying to be last year's Edgewood team, right? Trying to get into a shootout. They scored 27. You know, they gave up 47. So this week they were like, okay, you know what? Maybe we're not this exact same offense we were last year. Let's turn up this defense. Let the offense find the rhythm and make sure that when they do, they have a defense behind them. I like this win for Edgewood moving forward because of that. Holy Name and Niles playing in a defensive struggle. Niles falls 14-0. How about Poland? This was a close game for a minute, but in the fourth quarter, a couple of scores let Poland turn it into a little bit of a lopsided runaway. 41-7, the final score against Howland. I think this game was a lot closer than that final score indicates. I think some garbage time touchdowns kind of broke Howland's will a little bit. I still believe that Howland is much better and they're going to get their wins this year. A tough place to go play for Poland if you're going to go into the Bulldogs' house. And a lot of people were doubting Poland at the start of the season. I heard some talks, right? I heard some people. We hear a lot in the offseason. We do at YSN. We might hold off our way of talking about football season until the month of August, but we hear everybody else talk. And there were a lot of people that said Poland is going to be down this year. Maybe pump the brakes on that opinion. Maybe not so much. Maybe they're going to be just as good as Poland always is. Program like that, they don't have down years, right? They just kind of shift ways of winning. We go to Independence. They were able to beat Conneaut 27-6. That was in Independence, that big block I in the middle of the midfield. We go to Jefferson and Lakeview. Lakeview has not allowed a point yet in their first two games of the season. They beat Jefferson 40-0. Is Lakeview for real? And I feel like I want to hold off answering that question until we get to see them in league play, because we've seen this same team last couple of years have really good non-conference wins against good teams in the non-conference. But then it's like they don't compete in the NE8. There's something blocking them in NE8 play. So I want to see them go in the conference and have the same energy, the same defense, the same domination that they've been having so far in the non-conference schedule. They're looking really, really good, and they're doing a lot of really good things. But I want to see it in the NE8. I want to see this Lakeview team really be a thorn in NE8 team side. I would love to see it. I would love to see new blood come in and put their names in the conversation of the conference. Camel and LeBray played an absolute thriller. LeBray gets the win 26-25, a last-minute touchdown with, I believe, maybe 8 seconds left. The PAT was the difference as LeBray gets the win 26-25. Much improved Camel team. We all said it. We all know it. This is one that they're going to feel like they could have won, and they are going to hope to everything that is in their being the playoffs don't come down to this win or this loss, because that'll be a tough one to swallow. It's one that they really feel like they had it in their hands. They had a lead late, and LeBray was able to punch in a last-minute touchdown to win the game. Mohawk gets a win this time, and according to Mike Ackelson, who knows all things Western PA football, this is a big rivalry. So Mohawk opens the season with back-to-back big emotional games. They've fallen a tough one last week to Neshannock. This week they bounced back. They beat a very good Laurel team. Both wins, both results were by 5 points. That's 10 points more. So Mohawk lost 42-37. They win 32-27. That's a little interesting way that goes about. But Mohawk's 1-1. They'll go forward into the PA season with that 1-1 record. We go to Girard and Liberty next, and Girard put their foot down in this rivalry game. That Liberty team is hard to defend, and Girard did it really well. 41-7, the Indians get the win here in that one. Canfield played the game of the night. They go into overtime against a very good Mansfield team, a team that beat Canfield a year ago, but Canfield gets their revenge in overtime. Final score was 20-14. A blocked field goal sent this game into overtime, and then I was really impressed with Enzo Coca. A brand new quarterback. We said last week, talking about that West Branch game, he settled in, made a couple of early mistakes, but settled in that West Branch game, and I really saw the next step. The next step, and him as a runner, dangerous, right? Dangerous. He was a very good runner in this game. Very good runner in this game, excuse me, and I believe close to, if not over, 200 total yards when you add his running and passing numbers together. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I did get them, and they are in the recap. So I believe, if my memory serves, that if you add the rushing and passing totals, he was, if not over 200, close to 200 for that. So great job by Canfield to get the win in this overtime, and great job by Enzo Coca stepping up and getting a big win in his second game as the varsity quarterback. The Southeast gets the win over Matthews, 41-6, the final score there. We go to McDonald rolling over Columbiana, 35-3. So that's 2 games in a row that McDonald has been won handily. And this was a Columbiana offense that put up 30 plus in their last game. So McDonald's defense, they know how to do it, right? They have allowed just 12 points in 2 games. That's an average of 6 points per game, which that'll win you a lot. That'll win you a lot of football games if you're able to do that. And they've scored 35 in both of those games as well. So McDonald looking really good this football season. Lakeside came off a big win last week, but this week, just a little bit of a tougher task against NDCL. We all know how good Notre Dame Cathedral Latin is at every sport they play because of the schedule they're able to put together. They beat Lakeside 49-14 in the final score there. We go into Jackson Milton, who stays undefeated with a dominating win over Newton Falls, 48-6, the final score there. The Blue Jays, like I said, have a big one against Wyndham on Friday in week 3. That should be a really fun game to watch. Orange comes into Middle Ridge, a team that has had their number the last couple of years, and they are now 2-0 on the season. The Lions not messing around in Rams country as they win 50-22, your final score. All orange in that game. Perry able to go to Euclid, and the reigning state champions, they do exactly what you expect. They win 42-0 over Euclid on that road game, a big win for the Pirates. Pymatuning Valley, the same result as they win 48-0 over Middlefield Cardinal. That size for the Lakers, way too much for Cardinal to handle. Rootstown takes care of champion, 35-0, the final score in that one. South Range all over Salem, 35-0. They get the win. I do want to say, though, Salem's defense, especially in the first half, when they were fresh and they weren't on the field forever, was really playing well. South Range had an opening kickoff return for a touchdown. They got called back a little bit because of a holding, but they still got to start that drive at the 15-yard line. Scored there, so you don't really put that too much on the defense when you have to start a drive there, so you take that touchdown almost away. It was 21-0 at halftime. They were really keeping Salem in the game. The offense just could not do anything against South Range's defense, and that's something that Salem's going to have to figure out. They're going to have to find ways to help out that defense, keep them off the field, and let them be fresh for the whole game. Maybe if they're fresh, maybe this stays a 28-0 game, but that second half, after you're on the field for so long, you start to get a little bit tired, start to give up a little bit more things that you wouldn't earlier in the game. But South Range, real deal. They win 35-0 over Salem. Crestview, a big win over Southern, 35-14, the final score there. Crestview will be playing United this week. That should be a really fun matchup between one undefeated team and one 1-1 team. Warren and JFK, maybe the surprise of week 2. Not that they won, but they went to Garrettsville Garfield and they dominated the G-men. Not very often do we see Garfield lose by this much. In fact, it might be the first time since they were a YSN school outside of their games against Kirtland that they lost by this much, this kind of margin. JFK goes to Garfield and they put a hurting on the G-men, 31-13 the final score there. JFK might be back, right? That's one of the sayings that we're seeing in sports a lot in today's day and age. Especially in college, we're back. Well, I think JFK might be saying we're back, everybody, with that win. Um, Wycliffe is able to beat St. John 24-14. The final score there. Hubbard and their offense and defense all working together for a big win over um, Wilmington out of Pennsylvania, 39-7. The final score there. West Branch 2-0 all over Woodridge, 52-7. The final score in that one. Ursuline goes on the road and beats Bishop Hartley 41-10. So a good bounce back from Ursuline after a tough loss last week in week 1. East Liverpool, they fall to a good Indian Creek team, a tough one for the Potters as they lose by 6, 20-14. Cardinal Mooney, they have lost again, and once again that offense, like Chris Ziegler said, who will be covering him in week 3 and covered them in week 1, trying to find a little bit of an identity, and there's not a lot of grace in that schedule to find it, so they better turn that light on quick. 35-7, VASJ beats the Cardinals in week 2. One of the games that went late into the night was Wellsville, as they went back and forth with Weirton, and they lose in the final seconds, 30-28. Tough one for the Tigers. They had a late lead, 28-23, in that game, slip away. Waterloo is able to shut out Latonia 24-0. The Vikings get a win there. We have Hoban all over Don Bosco Prep from New Jersey, 21-7. The Knights win. Boardman, a tough road trip to Uniontown Lake, who was coming off an overtime win in week 1. That's over an hour away. Boardman's road trip did not go their way, 34-13. Lake gets the win there. Austintown Fitch able to beat Massillon Jackson on the road, 27-17. Your final score, and then last but not least, Toronto. Sorry, big winners over Lowville, 57-26. The final score in that one. Let's move on to Saturday and see what we got on there. That slate. As far as football goes, there were 3 games on Saturday. We saw Valley Christian beat up on St. Thomas Aquinas, 54-6, your final score. Western Reserve was able to win over Trinity, 13-0, a defensive slugfest there. And then Beaver was able to beat Blackhawk, 56-28, your final score there. So Beaver, they have to wait one more day, but they make it worth the wait with a big victory for the Bobcats. Volleyball on Saturday, we saw Edison lose to Cambridge in 4. East Liverpool was able to sweep D3 Carrollton. That was a big win for the Potters. The Potters now 5-2. They've had a strong week on the volleyball court. Salem looking really good. They're 4-2 on the year. They go to Ursuline. They win in 4, 3-1. I was very impressed with Salem. I was able to call that game. Their defense is good. Sophia Maniscalco is a great setter, really moving the ball around well. They had 4 attackers with 6 or more kills, but then the one that is really lighting up the scoreboard is sophomore Abby Knickerbocker. She had 20-plus kills in that game, and she was really swinging the ball well. So Salem looking good. South Range salvages the week with a win on the road at Grand Valley in straight sets, 3-0. So they're now 4-4 on the season, and that win helps them just barely stay in the power rankings. DJ will have your breakdown of the power rankings on the Power Hour. It makes sense to give him that with the name lining up the way it did. Edison, they fall to Chardon, 3-1 the final score there in 4 sets. Alliance, they're able to beat East in straight sets. In Alliance, Harlan Christian goes to Lindsley in West Virginia. They fall in straight sets 3-0. We saw Beaver get beat by Oak Glen, but a 5-set thriller. Oak Glen is a very good team. So this is a strong match for Beaver that I'm sure they can take a lot from as they fall in 5. In Lisbon, they go to Bridgeport. They get the win 3-0 in straight sets. The Blue Devils all over that one. Boys soccer for Saturday, we saw Ursuline beat up South Range 4-1, the final score there. Austintown Fitch and Glen Oak draw 0-0 for them. Canton Hoover is able to beat Bournemouth 5-0. We have Howland Boys Soccer. They went and played Padua Franciscan. They win 1-0. Howland Boys Soccer, one of the best programs in the area, so no shocker to see they get a win against a very quality team. Beaver Local beats Weir 4-0. West Branch Boys able to score enough to get past Newton Falls 7-3. Garrettsville Garfield, they are postponed. They did not get to play Bristol on Saturday. Hoban did play, and they fall to Barberton 1-0, the final score there. Girls soccer scores from Saturday. We have Austintown Fitch matching up with Louisville, and they lose that one 3-0, the final score there. Salem, they fall to Boardman 5-1, a big win for the Spartans. Howland plays Glen Oak, and the Tigers fall 6-1, the final score there. Hubbard goes to Warren to Harding. They lose 5-1 on the girls' side for soccer. East Liverpool, they fall to Steubenville Central Catholic 3-0. Edison gets a big win, 11-1 on the girls' side over Magnolia from West Virginia. We have United beating Maplewood 5-3. Once again, Garfield and Bristol, like the boys, they are postponed. That date is to be determined. When we get an update on that schedule, we will give it to you. West Branch girls beat Newton Falls 3-0. Southeast with the win over Rootstown 1-0. And then Hudson gets the win over Hoban girls soccer 3-0, the final score there. So those are your Saturday and final scores from the weekend, brought to you by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. We will take a quick break. We'll be back to the scoreboard at the end of the show to preview what's going on tonight. But on the other end of the break, we're going to have a Coach's Corner featured with Pymatuning Valley Volleyball. That's all coming up next on Running Point, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Don't go anywhere.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town, top right-hand corner of the screen right there, like they always are. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. You know, one of the ways we do that is getting a chance to highlight the coaches and the players of our great communities, and we're going to go up to Pymatuning Valley today and hear from their volleyball coach and talk about that season and what they have going forward. Here is a coach's corner and season preview with Pymatuning Valley Volleyball. Donna Scheinalt, the head coach of the Lakers. All right, Anthony Hartwig here with another volleyball season preview. We're talking to Pymatuning Valley's head coach, Donna Scheinalt. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having us on.
We are so excited for Pymatuning Valley. We've already seen them on the network once, and we're excited for everything that you have this year. But before we talk about that, I want you to just kind of give us a recap of last year and some of the lessons that you think were learned and what you hope the returning players can bring from last year's experience.
Last year, we had a really good team. We had a hard time sometimes living up to our potential and playing at our own level. I'm hoping this year that these girls learn that they have to repeat positive behaviors and keep moving forward with everything that they do. We have 7 seniors this year, 6 are starters, and they are returning, most of them, from last year. And like I said, they've worked really hard together. They know how to play the game. They know how to work well together. As long as they can keep the foot on the gas pedal, we're good to go.
Now, as we venture on to this year, I want to kind of have a meet the team segment where we talk about your roster and the big names that are going to come down to it, and maybe some new names too.
Okay. So for our big names, we still have May Struna, Autumn Newkirk, Anna Pittman. We have Taryn Tisch. Kendra Wallace is back this year. She was with us 1 year and then was out with an ACL injury. Now she's back for her senior year. We have Miley Corson, who's our main setter. Some of the new girls that we have this year, we have McKenna Jordan, who's a sophomore. We have Sophia Young, which is a sophomore. They both lettered varsity for me last year. They stepped in at the end of the season and really helped out and did a great job. My starting libero is Bailey Fogus. She's returning as well. She's junior this year. We have my second setter is Erilyn Lockwood. She's also a junior, and the bench is full of juniors. We're very heavy in the senior and junior group. I have 28 girls total in the program right now. So we have 3 teams, varsity, JV, and freshmen.
Being so high on upperclassmen, I'm sure you're not struggling in the leadership department. Who have you seen so far in the summer and the first couple of weeks of the season really step up and be that vocal leader for your team and step up in that role?
You know, it's kind of hard to pick just one. Of course, Kendra Wallace was voted our captain for this season. Her team felt that she was one of the most supportive and driving forces behind the team. But I would have to say all my seniors, they do a great job. Even the juniors below them, they support each other. They build each other up. They help the underclassmen. We get a lot of younger girls that haven't played before, so they don't even know how to do rotations and stuff. So we're working on getting the bugs worked out of that. And it is really, really hard for me to say just one.
Yeah, and the other thing that comes with leadership is chemistry, right? We know that volleyball team chemistry is so important. Got to be able to communicate out there on the court and trust each other. What are some things that this program does to build team chemistry and to make sure that this group is as tight-knit as possible?
Well, we try to spend as much time together off season as we can and do fun things together. Like in the summer, we have the opportunity of, like everybody else does, to go to Cedar Point. And I just take a hodgepodge of girls. I don't even take like the starting lineup. I don't even have that figured out at that point. But if they're able to go, we take a group of girls, we go to Cedar Point, and we play in the tournaments there so they can see and experience that and get to know each other a little bit better, because they're not always the girls standing next to them on the court. We try to get some beach volleyball going in at one of our players' houses. Her grandfather has a nice beach volleyball pit, and so we try to spend time doing that. And, after school, before games, we try to get it set up so they can have dinners together and they get a chance to know each other a little bit more personally.
Let's talk about the schedule. We'll start inside the conference that you play in, which is a very tough one. What kind of things do you expect out of the conference this year, and how do you think that the Lakers can really make some noise in it as well?
Well, this year's conference is going to be a little bit different. We've had quite a few coaching changes within our conference. And so it's going to be interesting to see how the different teams line up and everything. I agree. We have a pretty good conference. They're pretty tough, every school we play. I just think if my girls are on fire, if they're on their game, that nothing can stop them and they can be successful in everything that they do.
And then in the non-conference, these are the games that you play pretty much to get ready for conference play and to get ready for tournament time. Who are some teams that pop up non-conference wise that you're really excited to test your team against and to play outside of your conference?
Oh, that's your teams like Edgewood and Lakeside and Champion. They all have very experienced coaches. Their coaches all coach with travel teams too. And it's really nice to see the differences that they bring to the floor, and it gives the girls a lot more to look at and learn from.
Now, normally this early in a season preview, we wouldn't ask about tournament time because that's a long way off. But tournaments look different in every sport not named football. There's a lot more divisions now. So I'm just kind of wondering your thoughts on how that expansion helps Pie Valley and what doors you think it might open.
That's kind of a rough question with everything we've had, all the changes we've had. Tournaments are a whole different ballgame. I mean, you either go in with the mindset we're going on, or you go in with the mindset we're going to get beat. And it's just how you approach the whole thing. You have to go in with that fire that you're going to move on and just play at your highest level.
Do you think the sport need an expansion? I mean, when this conversation started to happen where volleyball and other sports were going to move to more divisions, were you a fan of that? Do you think the sport needed it?
I mean, we do have a lot of girls that play volleyball. We have lots of teams. We have things. It's hard when you break it down too far. You might not get the experience and the level of play that you're looking for. But, I mean, it's a trial and error thing, right? If it's not working out, they're going to decide that they want to change things back. It's just take one day at a time, and that's how we go about it. And I just want these girls to work as hard, no matter if we're at a smaller group or if we're in a larger group.
This is our first chance getting to talk to you, so I just want to know, kind of from your perspective, what do you love so much about coaching for Pymatuning Valley and coaching for this community and being able to represent the Lakers every night that you go out there and lead your team?
Well, it's a very unique experience for me because I graduated from Pymatuning Valley myself. I played volleyball on the same floor. I fell in love with the sport at a very young age, and I just truly enjoy helping these girls learn and love the sport. And it's just, this is my hometown. This is my community. This is where I want to be. And it's just a blessing for me to be able to be here and teach these girls and coach them up here in this beautiful area and this beautiful school.
We don't let these coaches' corners go without giving the coach the chance to highlight their staff. We know that you're coming on for the interview. You get the limelight, but your staff and the people that are working with this program, you couldn't do it without them. So I want to give you the chance to thank them and to shout them out and to talk about the people you have working with you.
Absolutely. So just at my base at the lower levels here with me, I have Isabella Greenewalt. She is my new JV coach this year. I stole her from Badger. She was Badger's head coach for a few years. It's great to have that head coach mindset with you, another pair of eyes that knows how to run a program. My daughter, Courtney Chenault, is helping with freshmen and stuff. She's helped me for the last 3 years. She's a senior at YSU, but she gets up here and helps us as much as she can. And then we step up into our administration. We have our athletic director, Melody Nowakowski. She is phenomenal. She's always there to back us up. And then we, of course, have our principal and our superintendent. Our board, we know we couldn't do it without the support of everybody and the athletic boosters and the parents. And it's a whole community. It's a whole family. And we all work together to make a program work here.
Coach, we want to thank you for your time. We appreciate you coming on, previewing Pymatuning Valley Volleyball. We're excited for it. We know you guys are too. Wish you the best of luck this season. We'll be out there covering you guys, and we can't wait to see you again real soon.
All right. Well, thank you so much. You have a great day.
That was Donna Scheinholt, the head coach of the Pymatuning Valley Lakers volleyball team. We thank her for her time, and we get a solid preview of what the Lakers are going to look like this season here 2 weeks into the year. I can't wait to see where Pymatuning Valley goes. I had a chance to call one of their games already. I like what they're made of. I like the core they have, and I think they're going to have good things going this year. So we want to thank Coach Scheinholt for her time. Not the last Coach's Corner we'll have from 440, of course. We'll have a couple others throughout the year, so we're going to make sure to give 440 their love here on this show. But now we're going to go back to the scoreboard, brought to you by Joe Dickey. That's the scoreboard show. Brought to you by Burnett Pool Spas and Hot Tubs. We'll bring it up on the screen here, and we'll go from Saturday, which we're on, to tonight and see what's going on with YSN teams tonight on their welcome back from the holiday break. No one played yesterday, so we'll get right back to action on this wonderful Tuesday night. So here's what we got going for tonight. We'll start with volleyball, kind of a full slate of volleyball. Beaver Local hosting Oak Glen. We just saw Oak Glen getting the 5-set win over Beaver over the weekend. A very good Oak Glen team. This will be a good test for the Beavers. East Palestine going to Wellsville. We have Howland going to Canfield tonight. Austin Town Fitch, they will host Louisville. We have St. John going to hosting Cardinal. Salem hosts Carrollton. Salem trying to stay on fire. Edison trying for their first win of the season. They'll host Indian Creek. Camel, they're going to Lowville. They're coming back from a trip to Florida. So we'll see what Camel learned on their journey. Cardinal Mooney and Ursuline is the Holy War round 1 in volleyball in Ursuline tonight. Columbiana goes to United. Crestview goes to Newton Falls. Girard will go to Poland tonight in any 8 play. LeBray going to Brookfield. South Range hosts Lakeview tonight. We have Liberty. They're going to Garrettsville Garfield. Lisbon will travel to Southern. We have Hoban hosting Olmsted Falls. JFK will be battling against Rootstown. Southeast travels to Champion. Springfield goes to Sebring. We'll have Cheney hosting St. Thomas Aquinas. Hubbard hosting Struthers. Latonia hosting Valley Christian. Last but not least, of course, Middle Ridge. They'll be hosting Waterloo. On the boys soccer side, Columbiana going to United tonight. Canfield hosting Ursuline. Salem hosting Alliance. Minerva traveling to West Branch. Hubbard going to Mooney. We have JFK going to St. Thomas Aquinas. Champion goes to Poland. Orange goes to West Geauga. And Crestwood will be making a trip here to Leavittsburg to play LeBray. On the girls soccer side, we have LeBray going to Jefferson. Pymatuning Valley traveling to Crestview. East Liverpool playing host to Steubenville. We have Boardman. They're going to be hosting Chardon. We're going to be hosting Beaver Local. United going to Columbiana. Bristol going to Struthers. We have Lakeside hosting Geneva. And then we have Warren JFK. They're going to St. Thomas Aquinas on the girls' side, just like their boys are. So there'll be a boys-girls doubleheader tonight in Louisville for St. Thomas Aquinas JFK. Now you know everything that's going on. Let's quickly get to your announcers and what games will be on the network tonight before we get out of here for the day. So, Tuesday, here we go. We have Chris Sigler going to be going to Beaver Local as they play Oak Glen. That'll be a good game for Siggy to call. We'll have Howland and Canfield. I will be in the nest for Canfield's first AAC match. Also coming off a week off. Canfield did not play last week, so we'll see if there's any rust on the Cardinals' wings or if they stay undefeated tonight in their AAC opener. Ty Bartell will have Austintown Fitch against Louisville. I believe that's his first Fitch volleyball game being called of the year. Rick Daly going to be in Southern Local. Those cover Lisbon and Southern Local, and then Zach Svensson and Johnny Reyes will be covering Hubbard hosting Struthers tonight. On the soccer side, boys, we have Matt Marr. He's going to be at Poland for their matchup with Champion. CJ Bako will be at United for their matchup with Columbiana. And that is all we have on the network tonight. 2 soccer games, 5 volleyball games. We also have live shows. South Range Sports Show will be at D'Angelo's. DJ Oakley will have that one. Steve Leslie and Noah Doty will be at the Springfield Show at the Tigers table. We have Tim Corso. He's going to be taking the Ursuline Show at the Golden Dawn. And then Matt Marr will be at the Poland Show at the Bulldogs. So we have a lot of shows tonight as well as games. Make sure to either tune into our games or tune into the shows or go check them out live at those establishments. We'd love to see you there for great food and great conversation with our area coaches and athletes. So that'll do it for today's show for Running Point. Tomorrow we'll be back. Scotty Mincher will be on my sidecar like he is every Wednesday. Look forward to that. 1 to 2 tomorrow on Running Point, as always. Brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll see you tomorrow.